Located in Banks Lobby, the Cougar's Den is a highly populated area for hungry college students. We want to find out what your favorite food item is on the menu. We asked, and you said it.
My favorite item at the Cougar's Den is are the pizza and soups. I just like the soups because they taste really fresh, and the pizzas sometimes can put some unique toppings on them. So I like getting them.
I would have to say a chicken cheesesteak. I'd say that just for the purpose of, because I love chicken and I love cheese and I love how it oozes together, and I like the bread too. The bread is really good.
My favorite thing is the chicken ranchero wrap. I like chicken without tomatoes though, of course.
Definitely the sushi. I look forward to Monday and Wednesday so I could get some good sushi from Masaki. It's a nice alternative to the other items they have.
I like the Mexican veggie wrap because I'm a vegetarian. It's one of the only vegetarian alternatives they have.
Favorite thing in Cougar Den is the vanilla iced coffee because it gets my day going and it tastes good.
Every year, dozens of kids from the Dallas area slide into Anderson to get squared up on the latest baseball techniques. CougarCast's Brett Ford suits up and sits down with head coach Pete Egbert and catches up with the camp.
Hi, I'm Brett Ford here this week with the locker room, in the locker room. I'm here with Misericordia baseball coach Pete Egbert. We're here to talk about the baseball camp that Coach Egbert runs over the winter. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you, Brett?
Good, thank you. Now with this camp, how did this camp get started, first of all?
I think sort of a baseball tradition. College baseball programs have always run summer camps and winter clinics. Actually at Misericordia, it's an idea that started with Coach Edkins when he was the baseball coach here years ago, and he had some success doing some winter clinics, and he had good relationships within the community. So when I took the position a few years ago, it was a way for us to continue that tradition and get some local kids from the community involved and prepared for their baseball season coming up this spring, and at the same time help raise some money for our program for our annual spring trip to Florida. And then it also gets some of our players, active players, involved with teaching and coaching, which some of them aspire to do, when they leave school. So it's a win-win opportunity for a lot of people.
How are your players able to interact with the kids?
We have a format where essentially it's a 3-to-1 player-to-coach ratio. So we'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 players on a given day, and they each have a small group of students or players that they work with, anywhere in age from first grade all the way up through high school, and they're working with them on their specific skills, whether it be hitting or pitching, and they're involved through the entire 5-week session, help developing those skills.
Could you run us through a typical day at this camp?
Sure. What we do is we have 1-hour sessions by age group. So for example, at noon, there are 2 sessions. There's a hitting session for 1st through 3rd graders and maybe a pitching session for 5th and 6th graders. And the kids choose which session they want to do, and if they are involved with hitting, we'll break it into maybe 4 or 5 different stations that they spend 10 or so minutes at each, and they're going through a different drill for the day. We try and break it up. So for hitting, for instance, we talk about transfer of weight one day, and that's the focus, and we have 4 or 5 different drills that help them figure out those skills, and then our players are working side by side with the campers and teaching them those skills.
Do you have any stories about campers or camper-player interactions that really come to mind when you first think about the camp?
I think one of the things that comes to mind is seeing the same kids or campers over and over. There are some that come to both our winter clinics and our summer camps. Ron Remission, who works in the administrative offices over in the college, his son Kyle comes, and Kyle's been a lot of fun. He started coming to camp when he was 5. Now he's been involved for 3 years, and it's been fun to watch him mature both physically and from a baseball standpoint, but also emotionally, and you know, he's just matured and he's become a good little ball player as well.
What dates does this camp, as well as the spring clinic you mentioned, what dates do these run?
We do the winter clinic for 5 consecutive Sundays beginning in middle of January, right around when second semester for the college starts, and that takes us up through middle of February or so. And then the summer camp usually is a 2-week period in July. No, again, just to reiterate some of the things we talked about already, I mean, it's a good opportunity. My players have great feedback. Oftentimes the camp is run after a practice, so our guys will go at it hard for 2 hours, and then they have to stay for another 4 hours to work the camp, and that turns out to be a long day for our student athletes. And sometimes they're not necessarily thrilled about that, but at the end of the day, I always get good feedback from them as well. Some of them are in education, some of them want to go into coaching, and some of them want to go into teaching, and this is a good opportunity for them to see the other end of the spectrum. Right. You know, we're always giving information to them, and they're taking it, and now they're the ones actually giving the instruction, and sometimes they say, oh, well, I told him to do this, why can't he do it the way I'm telling him to do it? And so they sort of realize our perspective sometimes, you know, just because you're saying something, it doesn't mean it's going to translate right away. The skills are very difficult to pick up, so it's a great experience for them to try and communicate those things to the kids, and I think they get a lot out of it. The kids are also very, very excited to sort of be hanging out with college athletes.
Coach Egbert, thank you very much.
My pleasure, thank you.
It was a pleasure having you. Join us next time when we interview Subak Novich, track star here at MU. Shana and Sean, back to you.
We'd like to thank Revolution Ice and Coach Mike Dennis for allowing us to come here and check the place out. We hope that students will make the drive out to Pittston to test the ice for themselves.
We would also like to thank Mets, Erica Acosta, and the MU baseball team.
Make sure you check out next episode where we take you on a tour of everything new.
And remember, you can always catch it here on CougarCast.